Everyone in the high society of Jingcheng knows that no one is to touch the little deer raised by the young lady of the Xiao family, but I, as her legal husband, just had to tear that little deer apart. The first time I slapped the little deer, Xiao Qingchuan, in order to comfort him, didn't come home for half a month. The second time, I gave Xian 3 million and told him to get as far away as possible. Xiao Qingchuan directly spent 30 million to keep him by her side. The third time, I secretly sent Xian abroad behind Xiao Qingchuan's back. That very night, she kidnapped my parents and strapped bombs to them just to force me to reveal Xian's whereabouts. My voice was hoarse. If I don't tell you, will you really let them die? She leaned forward slightly, her dark eyes reflecting my pale face. You can try and see. He's in Zurich, Switzerland, I said with a tremble. In the villa that's under my name. She stared at me for a few seconds, as if trying to judge if I was telling the truth. Then she picked up her phone and made a call. After confirming, she grabbed her coat, her steps hurried as she prepared to go pick him up. Where are my parents? I suddenly grabbed her sleeve. You promised. As long as I told you, you would let them go. She turned her head to look at me, her eyes cold. The abandoned factory in the south of the city. Go find them yourself. I staggered out the door, driving straight to the south of the city. When I found them, there were only 10 minutes left on the bomb. My parents were tied to chairs, their mouths gagged. The moment they saw me, they shook their heads desperately, signaling for me to leave quickly. I rushed forward, my trembling hands reaching to untie the ropes, but the bomb's countdown timer sounded like a death knell. 3, 2, 1. I couldn't untie it. I was so rushed that my hands and feet were clumsy. My father suddenly pushed me with all his might. I staggered backward. The next second, he suddenly used his body to lunge at the bomb. In an instant, a deafening explosion rang out. The heat wave threw me violently to the ground. My vision was filled with the color of blood. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. My parents were both seriously injured, but thankfully they were still alive. I knelt before their hospital beds, crying and apologizing. I'm sorry. It's because I chose the wrong person. My mother weakly raised her hand and stroked my hair. You silly child. You can just start over. She won't let you go. At first, after I found out about Xian's existence, I couldn't accept it. It's not that I never thought about divorce, but every time I drafted a divorce agreement, Xiao Qingchuan would tear it up. She said she was just playing around with Xian. Once she got tired of him, she would kick him away. Her true love was me. She will let you go. My father took my hand. No. Hao Ming, there's something you don't know. And she has probably forgotten it too. The night you agreed to marry her, your mother and I made her sign a divorce agreement. I was stunned. If she betrays you, my father's voice was very soft, the agreement will take effect. You can divorce her directly. Our family will disappear forever. I was speechless. Tears streamed down my face. It turns out my parents had prepared an escape route for me long ago. The next day, I did 2 things. The first thing, my parents and I took the signed divorce agreement to a lawyer's office. The lawyer looked it over and nodded. The agreement is valid. The divorce is effective immediately. The second thing, our family went to apply for identity erasure. Once the identity erasure process is complete, I will no longer exist in this world, and Xiao Qingchuan will never find me. After learning the identity erasure process would take half a month to complete, my parents and I discussed it and decided to return to the Xiao residence first. For this half a month, I must continue to stay by Xiao Qingchuan's side. I can't let her discover anything unusual. Otherwise, with her methods, none of the 3 of us will be able to leave. After returning to the villa, I started to clear out my things, the photos of us together that I once treasured, the love letters Xiao Qingchuan wrote to me, the souvenirs we bought while traveling together. I threw them all into the fireplace. The flames devoured the past as if burning away a ridiculous dream. The next day, I went to the backyard. There was a whole forest of phoenix trees there. Xiao Qingchuan had planted them for me with her own hands. She said phoenix trees symbolize loyalty, just like her love for me, which would never fade. I picked up an axe and chopped them down one by one. The servants stood at a distance, not daring to come closer, nor did they dare to stop me. The heavy and piercing sound of the tree trunks breaking was as if some obsession was being cruelly severed. On the third day, I went to Lover's Cliff on the mountaintop. A concentric lock hung there. Our names were engraved on the lock. That year, Xiao Qingchuan held my hand and threw the key off the cliff, saying that we would be locked together forever in this life. Now, I used bolt cutters to sever the chain. The lock fell to the ground, making a crisp sound. I turned and left without looking back once. When I returned to the villa, there were 2 more people in the living room. Xiao Qingchuan was sitting on the sofa, and Xian was beside her. His face was pale, as if a gust of wind could blow him over. I walked past them expressionlessly, heading straight upstairs. Stop! Xiao Qingchuan's cold voice rang out. I stopped without turning back. Do you know why I brought him back? I don't care. After you sent Xian abroad, he couldn't acclimatize. He couldn't sleep for days and nights. Her voice carried a hint of blame. Hao Ming apologized to him. I finally turned around to look at them. Xian timidly tugged at Xiao Qingchuan's sleeve, but a glint of triumph flashed in his eyes. What if I don't apologize? I asked calmly. Forget it, it's okay. Xian spoke, feigning timidity. It's okay if I'm wronged a little. After all, this gentleman is Ms. Xiao's husband. Xiao Qingchuan immediately hugged him tightly. Didn't I tell you that you don't have to be so understanding? She squeezed his hand tightly. From now on, with me here, you can do whatever you want. I sneered. It felt incredibly ironic. A servant brought over a bowl of calming soup, saying it was specially prepared for Xian. Just then, Xiao Qingquan's phone rang. She glanced at the caller ID, then said to Cheyenne in a gentle voice, "You always get a headache whenever you hear me talk about work. I'll take this outside. You finish the soup." After speaking, she got up and left. I stood where I was, my heart feeling like it had been struck by a heavy axe. She never used to discuss work matters outside, because it involved business secrets. But now, for Xian, she could even change this habit. Only Xian and I were left in the living room. The paleness on Xian's face immediately vanished, replaced by the arrogance of a victor. "See that?" he sneered. "Even though you're her husband and you used your status to drive me away, Qingquan's body and heart both belong to me." I looked at him calmly. "You want her? Then you can have her." Xian was stunned for a moment, then immediately became angry. "I don't need you to give her to me. Sooner or later, she will be mine alone. Your position will also be mine." Seeing that I was unmoved, he grew even more furious. Just then, Xiao Qingquan's footsteps were heard outside. A malicious glint flashed in Xian's eyes. He suddenly picked up the hot calming soup and splashed it all over himself. He screamed, and tears immediately welled up. When Xiao Qingquan rushed in, this was the scene she saw. Xian was a complete mess. The soup was dripping down his clothes, and his eyes were red-rimmed. Hao Ming. Anger simmered between her brows. "It's one thing not to apologize, but how dare you treat him like this?" "I didn't do it," I said calmly. "You can check the camera." "Fine, then let's check." She laughed coldly. Xian immediately grabbed her arm. He said with a sob, "Qingquan, it's not his fault. It's because I shouldn't have deluded myself into thinking I could stay by your side. I'll leave right now." He had just taken one step when Xiao Qingquan pulled him back. "I had such a hard time finding you and bringing you back. And now you want to leave my sight again. Are you trying to kill me?" She hugged him tightly as if embracing a long-lost treasure. Then she looked at me, her gaze frighteningly cold. "I will get justice for you in this matter." I was locked in the cold storage. As the bodyguards dragged and pushed me inside, I struggled desperately. "Xiao Qingquan, check the camera." I didn't do it. She didn't even glance at me, only saying coldly, "There's no need to check. I only believe him." The cold door slammed shut. Darkness and cold instantly swallowed me. I huddled in a corner, my whole body shivering, but my heart was even colder than the storage room. Is this the person who said she loved me most? I couldn't stop my tears from falling. I have a naturally cold constitution, and am very afraid of the cold. After we got married, Xiao Qingquan spent a large sum of money to install a climate control system in the house. Even the garden outside felt like spring all year round. In the winter, she would hold my ice-cold hands and feet in her arms to warm them, saying with a smile, "I will warm you like this for the rest of my life." Thinking back now, perhaps vows are only true in the moment they are spoken. The next day, when the cold had made me nearly lose consciousness, the cold storage door finally opened. A bodyguard stood at the door with a blank expression. CEO Xiao said that if there's a next time, the punishment won't be this light. I leaned against the wall, staggering out. My whole body was shaking, and even my teeth were chattering. There won't be a next time. Very soon, I will make her get out of my world completely. In the evening, Xiao Qingquan's assistant brought a suit and jewelry, saying I needed to attend a charity auction gala. I went. And at the entrance of the banquet hall, I saw Xian. Xian was wearing a designer suit. The custom-made necklace around his neck was Xiao Qingquan's, which she had won at an auction last month for an 8-figure sum. I stopped in my tracks. I looked towards Xiao Qingquan. She was there too. "What do you still want me here for?" Her expression was indifferent. I didn't originally plan to bring him, but he has never seen an occasion like this. He wanted to come, so I brought him. She paused for a moment, her tone casual. "Hao Ming, don't be so petty." My body trembled slightly. I wasn't being petty. She simply hadn't considered that by having the legal wife and the little deer appear together, how much gossip and ridicule I would face. Xiao Qingquan led Xian straight inside, and Xian held her hand intimately. People around them whispered, "Xiao Xiao and her husband are so affectionate. They're a perfect match." "You've got the wrong person. That man over there is her husband. The one beside her is just a kept little deer." The person glanced at me awkwardly. "But Xiao Xiao treats that guy so well. She gives him the real designer stuff to wear, while she gives that gentleman the sponsored items." It's no wonder I was mistaken. I clenched my fists, my nails digging deep into my palms. After the auction began, I casually bid on a few items. But whatever I bid on, Xian would just add $1 to my bid. Snickers erupted from the crowd, the legal wife being bullied by the little deer. This is really a first. My face was expressionless. I directly signaled to light the sky lantern. Lighting the sky lantern means that no matter how high the price, I will buy this item. There is no limit. Xian's face turned pale. He aggrievedly pulled on Xiao Qingquan's sleeve. "Qingquan, I really like this one." Xiao Qingquan frowned at me. "Hao Ming, let him have it. I won't. He can't light the sky lantern, but I can, because I am your husband. Our marital assets are shared." I looked towards Xian and said sarcastically, "No matter how much you give her, you can't compare to me." Xian's face immediately turned deathly pale. He stood up abruptly. The next second, he suddenly covered his face and said tearfully, You are her husband. I'm just a little deer who can't be seen in the light. I shouldn't have been so delusional. King Chuan, we should just break up. After saying that, he turned and ran. Xiao Qingchuan's expression changed abruptly. She grabbed my wrist with one hand. I told you I get tired of him after a while. Why did you insist on forcing him to leave? I looked at her calmly. Whether he leaves or not has nothing to do with me. Her eyes were dark. She flung my hand away and strode after him. I stood where I was. The surrounding gazes were either mocking or pitiful, but I didn't care. After all, I was about to leave anyway. But the next morning, I was woken up by a news alert on my phone. Shocking. 999 private photos of the husband of Xiao Group's chairwoman will be publicly auctioned at Sotheby's. The blood in my veins instantly ran cold. Only Xiao Qingchuan had those photos. I called her trembling, my voice hoarse. Did you release the photos? On the other end of the line, Xiao Qingchuan let out a cold laugh. Don't you love lighting sky lanterns? If you don't want others to see those photos, her voice was cruel, then you better get over there and light a lantern for every single one of them to your heart's content. In the background, Xian responded, King Chuan, is that Hao Ming calling? I think I should leave. I shouldn't stay by your side. Don't be silly. Her voice immediately softened. Right after, the sound of an ambiguous kiss came through the phone. I've already stood up for you. Just try and leave. I don't know when the call was disconnected. I felt like I had fallen into an ice cavern. I immediately ran to the auction site. The moment I pushed open the door, I trembled all over. There were people everywhere, and my private photos were being displayed on the big screen. There was a side profile shot of me sleeping soundly. She once praised it as handsome and deliberately saved it. There was a picture of my back as I was showering. When she coaxed me into taking it, she said she could look at it when she missed me. There was also a photo of me in bed covered in hickeys. At the time, she said it was proof of her love for me. At the auction site, everyone's eyes were glued on me. The whispers were like daggers in my ears. This physique, these abs, tisk tisk. Xiao Xiao is really lucky. I heard Xiao Xiao loved him very much back then. Why is she selling her husband's private photos now? She got tired of him, of course. This kind of man who marries into a rich family, they look glamorous on the outside, but behind the scenes. Every sentence was like a knife stabbing my heart. I suddenly remembered how possessive Xiao Qingchuan used to be. That year, when we were vacationing on an island, I was about to take off my shirt to sunbathe. A woman looked at me a couple of extra times. Xiao Qingchuan immediately dragged me back to the hotel. In front of the floor-to-ceiling window, she sat on my lap and coaxed me to say, Hao Ming belongs to Xiao Qingchuan. And now, in order to stand up for another man, she personally sold my private photos for these people to see. I bid on them one by one. Every time I pressed the bidding device, my heart grew a little colder. By the time I won the last photo, my love for her had completely run out. As I walked out of the auction house, my phone rang. Had your fill of lighting sky lanterns? Xiao Qingchuan's voice was laced with mockery. I gripped the phone tightly, my nails nearly digging into my palm. Aren't you afraid I'll divorce you for doing this? Her voice was very calm, as if she were talking to a clueless child. You can't get a divorce. Hao Ming. If I don't sign, this marriage can't end. I remained silent. She had indeed forgotten that I held an agreement she had already signed a long time ago. Seeing my silence, Xiao Qingchuan's voice softened. Today was just a lesson. She paused. I've told you before, as long as you don't target Xian, I will naturally return to the family after some time. Your birthday is in a few days. I'll throw a party to make it up to you. I was just about to say there was no need. The call was disconnected. After that, almost every day I would see Xian's social media feed. The latest post was Xiao Qingchuan hugging him for a photo on a yacht. The caption read, she said I wanted to see the sea, so she bought me a whole island. Scrolling down further, she's allergic to cat fur, but she got a ragdoll cat for me. The photo album on her phone is all me. If this were before, my heart would ache to the point of suffocation. But now, my heart feels no ripples at all. Xiao Qingchuan had been staying at Xian's place recently, and when she occasionally came home, she didn't notice anything missing. Perhaps even if I disappeared, she wouldn't even notice. On the day of the birthday party, Xiao Qingchuan drove to pick me up herself. She was alone in the car. You didn't bring Xian along? I asked indifferently. Xiao Qingchuan frowned. They'll try to keep you two apart from now on, so you don't have to keep getting angry. I sneered. She wasn't afraid of me getting angry, but afraid that I would bully Xian. In her heart, I was already a cruel man. The party was very grand. Xiao Qingchuan held my hand throughout the whole event, gifted me a branded watch, a precious painting, and even coaxed me in a low voice. Have I appeased you this time? I looked at her, suddenly remembering the past. Whenever she made me angry, she would humble herself to coax me just like this, and I would always soften and forgive her every time. But this time was different. She used my parents' lives as a bargaining chip, trampled on my dignity, and publicly auctioned my private photos. Even if she offered the whole world to me, it wouldn't be enough to make up for it. Just as I was about to open my mouth, the main door of the banquet hall was suddenly pushed open. Xian, dressed in a white suit, stood timidly at the door. Xiao Qingchuan's expression changed. Didn't I tell you to stay put in the villa? His eyes were slightly red. I wanted to come and wish Hao Ming a happy birthday. I even brought a gift. I don't want to see you, I said coldly. But Xiao Qingchuan had already waved for a waiter to arrange a seat for Xian. She whispered to me, he was kind enough to come celebrate your birthday. Let's just let bygones be bygones. During the party, it was clearly my birthday celebration, but Xiao Qingchuan's attention was completely on Xian. When the band started playing a dance tune, she had originally taken my hand, but out of the corner of her eye, she saw Xian's aggrieved expression. In the end, she still turned and walked towards him. I stood in the corner watching them dance in an embrace, feeling numb inside. The dance ended, Xian said. His leather shoes were hurting his feet, so Xiao Qingchuan immediately went downstairs herself to buy sneakers for him. He took the opportunity to walk up to me and shook his phone. Hao Ming, you probably don't know, do you? The gifts King Chuan gave you are all things I didn't want. To attend your birthday party, she even had to report to me, texting me every minute. He smugly showed off the chat history. Look, she said, baby, just bear with it a little longer. I'll be back with you soon. My heart had long turned to cold ashes. What exactly do you want? I want you to step aside. It will be soon. I looked at him calmly. I will step aside completely. Shy and narrowed his eyes. I couldn't tell what he was thinking. Just when I thought he believed me, the next moment he suddenly grabbed my hand and used it to slap his own face hard. A crisp slapping sound rang out. When Xiao Qingchuan rushed over, she saw Xian holding his face. Hao Ming, she flew into a rage. You're bullying him again. I didn't. I saw everything. She grabbed my wrist, grip so strong it nearly crushed my bones. Wasn't last time's lesson enough? I've told you, however you treat Cheyenne, I will pay you back tenfold. Xian shook his head. Forget it. It's okay. With me here, what are you afraid of? Xiao Qingchuan wiped his tears away, her heart aching. I've told you before, you can do whatever you want, even if you poke a hole in the sky. It's fine. Don't always be so timid and withdrawn, you'll only get bullied. After saying that, she directly ordered the bodyguards to hold me back and said to Xian, however he hit you, now you slap him back tenfold. Xian pretended to be scared. I don't dare. Let me teach you. She grabbed his hand and swung it hard towards my face. This is to teach you how to fight back. This is to tell you not to be timid. The third one. The fourth one. It hurt so much that my vision went dark and my ears were ringing, but I still clenched my teeth, not uttering a single word. On the 10th slap, Xiao Qingchuan finally stopped. The guests around whispered among themselves, the young master is so pitiful, and it's his birthday today too. Serves him right. Who told him to bully others? Xiao Qingchuan gently lifted Xian's hand. Does it hurt? It'll take you to apply some medicine. After saying that, she helped Xian leave without a single glance back. The bodyguards let me go. I collapsed to the ground, my cheeks burning with pain, but the pain in my heart was 1,000 times worse. Xiao Qingchuan, I regret it. I regret loving you. I regret it so much. I staggered out of the banquet hall. My cheeks were burning with pain. The blood at the corner of my mouth had dried. I didn't call the driver. I drove myself to the hospital. When the doctor was applying medicine for me, I stared at myself in the mirror. Half of my face was red and swollen. The corner of my mouth was torn and my eyes were bloodshot. So pathetic. I smirked, which pulled at the wound, causing me to suck in a sharp breath of cold air from the pain. After treating the wound, I drove, preparing to go home, but I was stopped by two people in the parking lot, Xian's parents. They blocked my car door, one on the left and one on the right, their tone pleading. Young Master Ming, please stop occupying the position of CEO, Xiao's husband. Take pity on us. Please give up your place for our son. I looked at them coldly. Move. My son truly loves CEO Xiao. Please let them be together. I said, move. I didn't want to get entangled any further, so I pushed them aside directly and opened the car door. But the moment I stepped on the gas, Xian's father suddenly lunged towards the front of the car. A loud thud rang out. I didn't even have time to react to what had happened when I saw Xian's father fall to the ground, clutching his leg and screaming miserably. Xian's mother screamed and rushed over while crying. Honey, I was stunned on the spot, my fingers gripping the steering wheel tightly. He threw himself at the car. He did it on purpose. But I didn't have time to think. I could only get out of the car immediately and take him to the emergency room. In the hospital corridor, Xian rushed over. As soon as he saw me, without a second word, he raised his hand and slapped me. Slap! My face was knocked to the side, ears ringing. Hao Ming! Xian screamed heart-wrenchingly. You can treat me however you want, but why would you bully my parents like this? The newly bandaged wound on my cheek split open again, but I didn't feel any pain. Your father threw himself at the car, I said coldly. At least make your lies sound convincing. Xiao Qingchuan's cold voice came from behind. How could Xian's father possibly throw himself at your car? Hao Ming, since when did you become so vicious? I looked at her, a heart already aching to a bloody pulp. The her of now didn't even investigate. She had already decided that I intentionally hit him. She seemed to have forgotten that year, how deeply she once loved me. The doctor hurried out. The patient has lost too much blood. He needs an urgent blood transfusion. He's type O. May I ask who can donate blood? Xian sobbed and shook his head. I am a direct relative. I can't donate blood. Xiao Qingchuan's gaze fell on me, and she said coldly, he's type O. Let him donate. My head snapped up. I won't donate. You hit him, so you have to take responsibility. Her eyes were dark. If anything happens to the person inside, I won't let you off. A chill ran through my entire body, my voice trembling. Do you want to force my parents to their deaths again, and force me to my death like last time? Her pupils contracted slightly, as if struck by my words. The next second, she was still ruthless, ordering the bodyguards, hold him down over there and draw his blood. I was forcibly pushed down onto the blood donation chair. When the needle pierced my vein, the pain made my fingertips tremble. The blood bag gradually filled up, and my consciousness grew increasingly faint. I remembered before, I was anemic and Xiao Qingchuan would feel pained even if I got a small scratch. But now, she had people hold me down, to draw my blood to save a fraud. Waves of darkness washed over my vision. I finally couldn't take it anymore, and passed out. When I woke up, it was already dark. I supported my weak body to get out of bed, preparing to leave the hospital. As I passed a hospital room, I heard Xian's voice from inside. Dad, Mom, this is Qingchuan, my girlfriend. My steps faltered. Through the slightly ajar door, I saw Xiao Qingchuan linking arms with Xian, her tone gentle. Uncle, Auntie, please rest assured, I will definitely treat Xian well in the future. Xian's mother was grinning from ear to ear. Good, good, good. For Xian to find a girlfriend like you is truly his blessing. I stood outside the door, suddenly recalling many years ago. Xiao Qingchuan was just like this, linking arms with me, solemnly telling my parents, Uncle, Auntie, please rest assured, we will definitely be happy. The same words she was now saying to another man, Xiao Qingchuan, so the expiration date of your promise was this short. After I went outside, I checked the time. There were 3 days left until the household registration cancellation was complete. In 3 days, my parents and I can leave this place for good. No matter how Xiao Qingchuan searches, she will only find that this person doesn't exist. After returning home, I quickly packed the things I wanted to take. A few sets of clothes, my ID, my passport. I didn't want to take anything else. When the bedroom door was suddenly pushed open, I was putting my passport into my bag. Xiao Qingchuan stood at the door, with a tearful and aggrieved Xian behind her. Although my dad is out of danger, he's old. He suffered a lot this time. Xian said tearfully, his tears falling like a broken string of pearls. Xiao Qingchuan reached out to wipe his tears, her tone gentle. Don't cry anymore. Aren't I here helping you get justice? She paused for a moment. How do you want him to apologize? As long as it's not too much, I will agree to it. Xian glanced at me timidly and said in a low voice, I want Hao Ming to be locked in jail for a few days. Xiao Qingchuan immediately frowned. Xian, this is a bit too much. I know you can't bear to do it. Xian tugged at her sleeve, the rims of his eyes red. But my father was so seriously injured. If we don't teach him a lesson, he will bully us again in the future. He bit his lip, his voice growing even quieter. It's just for a few days, so he won't dare to do it again in the future. Qingchuan, I know he's the one in your heart. I'm just a pastime. If you really can't bear to do it, then let's break up. Xiao Qingchuan was silent for a few seconds, finally sighing in resignation. We are not breaking up, I'll listen to you. Just like that, I was taken to the detention center. Before leaving, Xiao Qingchuan didn't even spare me a glance. As for Xian, after confirming she was far away, he turned back and gave me a cold smile. He whispered something to the police officer beside him and stuffed a wad of cash into his hand. The next 3 days were the longest nightmare of my life. I was pushed, insulted, and even deliberately tripped. My knees were scraped. No one treated my wounds. No one gave me a sip of clean water. I huddled in a corner, clenching my teeth and counting the time. In 3 days, I will be free. On the evening of the 3rd day, the iron gate finally opened. Xiao Qingchuan stood at the entrance against the light. I couldn't see her expression clearly. It wasn't until she got closer that her heart seemed to stir a little. How did this happen? My clothes were so dirty you couldn't tell their original color. My hands and knees were covered in bruises and scrapes, and there was dried blood at the corner of my mouth. Xian immediately linked arms with her. Hao Ming must have hurt himself on purpose to look pitiful. He pouted. He was only locked up for a few days. What could have happened? Xiao Qingchuan stared at me for a few seconds and finally said with a cold face, Hao Ming, are you ever going to stop this? I sneered, not even having the strength to explain. After returning to the villa, for once, Xiao Qingchuan didn't leave immediately. She sat on the sofa and announced calmly, From now on, you'll be with you on Mondays and Tuesdays. The rest of the time you'll be with Xian. I stood on the stairs without saying a word. Today is Wednesday, so I have to go be with him. She stood up. Don't come bother me for the next few days. She walked to the door and added another sentence. You'll be back next Monday. I looked at her and said indifferently, Okay, goodbye. How ridiculous. She thinks I'll still be waiting for her to come back. Xiao Qingchuan frowned, seemingly a bit surprised by my attitude, but in the end, she said nothing, turned to leave. The moment the big door closed, my phone suddenly vibrated. Mr. Ming, your household registration cancellation procedure is complete. I stared at this message, the rims of my eyes moist. My heart pounded violently, almost wanting to leap out of my chest. I'm free. I immediately picked up the luggage I'd packed earlier and walked out of the villa without looking back. To the airport. My parents were waiting for me at the boarding gate. Seeing me arrive, my mother hugged me tightly, her eyes red. Hao Ming, it's all over. I also nodded with red eyes. Yes, it's all over. On a snowy night 6 years ago, Xiao Qingchuan knelt at my door, saying she wanted to carve me into her life. And now, I have dug this name out of my own life with my own hands. Here's your boarding pass, sir, the staff member said respectfully. Taking the ticket, I took my parents' hands and strode towards the boarding gate. My back was straight, my steps without a hint of hesitation. From now on, there will no longer be a person named Xiao Qingchuan in my world. The plane cut across the sky, flying towards a foreign country. In the vast Jingcheng city, the absence of just one ordinary family would go unnoticed by anyone. At the same time, Xiao Qingchuan was with Xian, cuddling him while watching a movie. Inexplicably, a brief sense of panic stirred in her heart, an emptiness. It felt as if something very important was forever lost in that moment. Xian noticed her distraction and looked up to ask her, "What's wrong?" "Nothing. It must be my imagination." Xiao Qingchuan shook her head and smiled, hugging him tighter. "Baby, you're distracted even when you're with me. I have to punish you." He deliberately misbehaved on her, tickling her a few times. In the end, he just tired himself out. "What? How come you're not ticklish at all?" Xiao Qingchuan chuckled lightly. "This punishment doesn't work, so let's change to another one." With that said, her hand touched his abs. The two of them tumbled together, laughing and playing around. At some point, the playful actions took a different turn. The two of them got closer and closer, and finally kissed, a passionate night. For 3 consecutive days, they were inseparable, but Xiao Qingchuan, from initial satisfaction, eventually grew tired of it, feeling a bit uninterested. All sorts of new games, Xian had tried them all, but Xiao Qingchuan was still distracted. She wasn't tired of these games, but rather, she was a bit tired of him as a person. Being with one person all the time is so boring. Most importantly, I hadn't sent a message in a long time. I had done as she wished. On the days she wasn't with me, I didn't bother her. This was clearly what she wanted, but in her heart, she felt a bit annoyed. Xiao Qingchuan glanced at her phone. In the chat interface with me, the conversation, which used to be about everything, had become pitifully scarce. The last call was during the auction a few days ago. She frowned, an unreasonable anger flaring up in her heart. He doesn't want me to bother him, so I really shouldn't do anything? Does he even remember he's my husband? Xiao Qingchuan tapped on my profile picture countless times, hoping to see a message from me the next second, but there was nothing. She hesitated, not knowing if she should call me. Before she could finish thinking, Xian suddenly covered her eyes. "Guess what surprise I've prepared for you?" He acted mysteriously, but his body moved without a trace, rubbing against her neck, full of seduction. Xiao Qingchuan couldn't react in time. Her finger had already touched the screen. The call was connected. "Sorry, the number you have dialed does not exist." The robotic female voice reached their ears. Both of them were stunned. "Let's talk about it later." Xiao Qingchuan impatiently pushed Xian away and in disbelief called me again. But it was still the same voice, the same phrase. How could this be? Her mind went blank, not understanding what had happened. Xian glanced at the person being called, then pretended to advise her. "Qingchuan, maybe Brother Ming is just busy, or maybe he's mad at you, jealous of me, so he deliberately canceled his phone number to make you anxiously come back to him. He's still your husband? Where else could he go? What could possibly happen? He's probably at home waiting for you to come back and comfort him." Xiao Qingchuan lowered her eyes and thought. What Xian said made sense. Maybe it was just as he said, that I was waiting for her anxiously right now. She frowned, her heart filled with annoyance and impatience. Just how long does he plan to keep making trouble? Is this game fun? Not at all as obedient as you, Xian. I can't be bothered with him. Let's see how long he can endure. Xiao Qingchuan suppressed the feelings in her heart, the unease and surging anger, and once again threw herself into Xian's arms. But Xiao Qingchuan was a bit distracted. She gave him a perfunctory kiss, and then still pushed him away. She picked up her clothes and put them on, tidied herself up in front of the mirror, then coldly dropped a sentence. "There's an urgent matter at the company. I'm going to deal with it first. You get some rest." After saying that, she didn't even glance at Xian, walked straight to the door, and drove away. Xian angrily punched the throw pillow several times. "Damn Hao Ming, he's got his tricks. I will absolutely not give her to you." Xiao Qingchuan really did go to the company. She didn't go home. For 2 consecutive days, she was busy with work at the company, but her gaze often lingered on the phone beside her. The phone rang. It was Xian calling. She annoyedly hung up. But Xian called again and again. The phone also lit up countless times, but not once was it from me. Even when Monday came, I still hadn't sent a single message or made a single phone call. The panic in Xiao Qingchuan's heart grew more and more apparent, and the flame of anger burned fiercely, ready to explode at any moment. Just then, the assistant suddenly pushed the door open. "Director Xiao, someone wants to see you." Before the assistant could finish, she quickly interrupted him. "Is it Hao Ming? Tell him to wait a little longer. Not messaging me for so long, he deserves to wait." The assistant looked troubled, biting his lip with difficulty. He said in a low voice, "Director Xiao, it's not him. It's the business partner we're meeting today." The expression on Xiao Qingchuan's face froze. She couldn't comprehend the assistant's words for a long time. "How is it not Hao Ming? Are you kidding me? Just call him in here. Postpone the business meeting." She rubbed her forehead in annoyance. The assistant was extremely troubled. "Director Xiao, he really didn't come. If you don't believe me, you can go out and see for yourself." As soon as these words were spoken, Xiao Qingchuan could no longer deceive herself. Her face darkened as she walked to the reception room, and after meeting the business partner, the aura around her became even colder. Until the end of the workday, Xiao Qingchuan still hadn't received a single call from me, not a single message from me. Her face was terrifyingly gloomy. Many employees who saw her trembled in fear, just wanting to hide in a corner. After waiting for a long time, Xiao Qingchuan finally ran out of patience and drove home at top speed. However, night had fallen, the whole city was lit up, but the villa on the mountainside was completely dark without a single light on. For a moment, she almost thought she was hallucinating. She confirmed it many times before believing that the villa was truly dark, as if no one was there. The panic in her heart grew more and more apparent. and her heart pounded. Hao Ming, what trick are you playing? This game of playing hard to get is useless on me. Xiao Qingchuan pushed open the door, turned on the lights, her brows furrowed tightly. She paced back and forth, searching the villa. However, the entire villa was empty, incredibly cold, so quiet you could hear an echo. A thin layer of dust covered the coffee table. The fresh flowers in the vase had long since withered, leaving only yellowed stems. It was obvious no one had been in the house for days. A feeling of panicked loss instantly flooded her heart. She pursed her lips tightly, trying to suppress the panic in her heart. Impossible. I can't divorce her. She has power and influence. I can't escape even if I run. Xiao Qingchuan tried to remain calm and found her voice again. Hao Ming, stop making a scene. If you come out now, I can still spend a few more days with you. Didn't I already say it? With Xian, it's just for fun. I'm starting to get tired of it now. You are the one I love the most. No one can replace you. Just give me a little more time. I'll come back to our family soon. Making more trouble is meaningless. Aren't you afraid I'll really divorce you? No matter how many things she said, the only response she got was silence. I was nowhere to be found in any room of the villa, and even some of my belongings were missing. I had really left. After belatedly realizing this, Xiao Qingchuan pressed her thin lips together, the aura around her suppressed to its limit, on the verge of exploding. Not only were my belongings missing, but even many things that proved and commemorated our shared memories had disappeared. The backyard was bare. An entire grove of phoenix trees had vanished, leaving only ugly stumps. It was only at this moment that Xiao Qingchuan completely panicked. Countless times before, when she had made me unhappy, I had never gone this far. A little comforting from her was all it took for me to forgive. But now, the phoenix trees that she personally planted for me, which held all our memories from the past 6 years, I didn't want them anymore. She touched the stumps in disbelief. The cut surfaces were slightly dry. It was clear they hadn't been cut in the last few days. A long time ago, I don't know when, I had already had them cut down. But she hadn't noticed at all. Xiao Qingchuan's heart gradually sank into an abyss, completely enveloped in darkness. She tremblingly called me, and unsurprisingly, it was still a non-existent number. Hao Ming, where on earth have you gone? She sent her first message in days. But the next second, a bright red exclamation mark appeared before her eyes, incredibly glaring. She had never thought that one day I would completely cut off contact with her. An ominous premonition arose in Xiao Qingchuan's heart. She hurriedly called my parents. Sorry, the number you have dialed does not exist, the same voice repeated endlessly, as if mocking her ridiculousness. My parents had also blocked and deleted all of her contact methods. Our family seemed determined, wanting to completely sever ties with her, but she wouldn't allow it. She didn't sign the divorce papers. Even if we ran to the ends of the earth, she would drag our whole family back. Xiao Qingchuan's face was grim. She called her assistant. As quickly as possible, investigate the whereabouts of Hao Ming's entire family for me. After that kidnapping incident, wherever they went, find out for me. He wants to leave me, in his dreams. The assistant, woken up in the middle of the night, suppressed his exhaustion and answered yes. He'll have people investigate immediately. After hanging up, Xiao Qingchuan's heart still couldn't calm down. She returned to the villa, looking at the empty house. A sense of desolation and loneliness washed over her. Her heart felt like a piece had been carved out, lying empty on the bed. Without me by her side, she felt a bit unaccustomed. Even though all my things were gone, she always felt my presence before her eyes. Looking at the sofa I bought in the living room, she could even recall the image of me sitting there playing games. The gentle breeze on the balcony blew the curtains. She remembered how I was at the mall before, buying them immediately as soon as I liked them. Such warm moments from the past could no longer be seen now. I don't know since when, the way we were together was only filled with jealousy and arguments. Even when sleeping in the same bed, we were worlds apart. I just wanted to press myself against the wall, not wanting any physical contact with her. We clearly loved each other so much before. How did it come to this? Xiao Qingchuan belatedly felt some regret. If I hadn't pursued thrills and found men outside, would things not have turned out this way? But all the women in our circle are like this. One at home, one outside, even several outside. There are countless others who play around more than her. Xian is also sensible, so why couldn't I understand and accept it? Xiao Qingchuan was a bit dazed and confused. She didn't feel sleepy the whole night. There was a worry in her heart and an unspoken annoyance that constantly urged her. Hurry, you must find me quickly, or you'll regret it for the rest of your life. The person sent to investigate took a long time, but finally had news. The assistant held a folder and a USB drive and placed them in front of Xiao Qingchuan. Director Xiao, it's been investigated. Mr. Ming took the divorce agreement you signed at the time of marriage to a lawyer. Currently, the divorce has been automatically decreed, and all three of them, he and his parents, have canceled their household registration and left. We only know they bought plane tickets to Country C. After that, their whereabouts are unknown. The assistant's voice grew weaker. He just wanted to bury his head in the ground, not daring to face Xiao Qingchuan's murderous gaze. As soon as he said these words, the whole room fell into a dead silence, frighteningly quiet. It was only at this moment that Xiao Qingchuan belatedly remembered, since getting married, in order to reassure my parents, she had signed a divorce agreement behind my back. She had originally thought that this agreement would never see the light of day, so she had completely forgotten about it. She never expected that one day I would actually use it and completely leave her. Xiao Qingchuan's face was expressionless, but her hand gripping the folder kept tightening, crinkling the folder. A fierce flame of anger was hidden in her deep eyes, about to erupt. She tried to hold it in, as if torturing herself by flipping through the documents in her hand. The text, accompanied by pictures, introduced in detail the things I had done in the past few days. I had truly lost all hope and wanted to leave her. But Xiao Qingchuan couldn't accept it. Even if I have to search to the ends of the earth, I have to find him. I must find Hao Ming. Her chest heaved with anger. She slammed the folder in her hand onto the table. The assistant looked bewildered. Director Xiao, you don't love Mr. Ming like you used to anymore. Isn't divorcing him a good thing? Why are you so insistent on not letting go? Mr. Ming will never accept Mr. An, nor will he accept you having other men. Even if you force him to stay by your side, it will only result in mutual destruction. Besides, Mr. An isn't as sensible as you imagine. The USB contains the investigation results of Mr. An, deliberately framing Mr. Ming. Why don't you take a look? Hearing this, Xiao Qingchuan's face immediately darkened. She hesitated for a moment, wanting to watch the USB when Xian suddenly burst in. Qingchuan, did Mr. Ming have someone badmouth me again? He dislikes me so much. It seems he really wants me gone. I still want to be with you forever. But he's pushing me like this. Maybe I should just leave you. He lowered his head pitifully, just like countless times before, covering his face to wipe his tears and preparing to run out. But after running a few steps, he still didn't see anyone chasing after him. The trick that had worked every time before was now ineffective. Xian kept looking back several times. His steps also slowed down unnaturally, seeing that the elevator had arrived at his floor. Still, no one came after him. The pitiful expression on his face froze, not knowing whether he should really leave or not. At the same time, in the office, Xiao Qingchuan plugged in the USB drive, her face pale and tense, quickly browsing through the videos. Countless surveillance camera clips were pieced together, showing what I had done in the past few days. I had never bothered to bully Xian proactively. On the contrary, it was always Xian who deliberately provoked and deliberately framed me. Xiao Qingchuan's face was as dark as ink, and her eyes held a dangerous glint. "Bring Xian back here," she roared, her long, slender fingers clenched into a fist, making a sickening cracking sound. It was clear she was furious to the extreme. The assistant hurriedly went to stop Xian, only to find him still standing at the elevator door. Seeing the assistant approach, an unusual glint flashed in his eyes. Contempt immediately arose in the assistant's heart. He had always looked down on people like Xian before. He didn't understand why Director Xiao had taken a liking to him, and he still didn't understand now. In his opinion, I was 1,100 times better than him in every aspect, but Director Xiao didn't cherish me. Perhaps that's just how it is when you get tired of what you have. He had never judged. Seeing the assistant approach, Xian couldn't help but smirk, but he still pretended to be pitiful. "Is Qingchuan asking me to come back? I don't want to go back to her. You tell her, I don't want to be her little puppy anymore." He snorted lightly, pouted, and pretended he was about to leave, but the assistant blocked him with a blank expression. "Excuse me, Mr. An. Director Xiao wants to see you. You can't leave." He spoke with an irresistible posture and forcibly dragged him back to the office. Xian just felt that something was wrong. There was a vague unease in his heart, but he didn't know where this unease came from. With a slam, the office door was closed and locked. Xiao Qingchuan walked up to Xian, grabbed him by the neck, and questioned him in a low growl. "Where did you get the gall to dare bully and frame Hao Ming like that? Was I too easy on you before?" "No, I didn't. It was Hao Ming." Xian's face flushed red. He kept pushing her hand away, making fragmented sounds. The air in his lungs grew thinner, and darkness filled his vision. Just before he was about to suffocate, Xiao Qingchuan finally let go. She casually threw him to the ground, her eyes filled with rage and hatred. After surviving, Xian gasped for breath. Tears unknowingly streamed down his face, but it couldn't evoke any pity from Xiao Qingchuan anymore. He didn't know how much she knew. He continued to play the victim as usual, tugging at her pant leg, his eyes red, his thin body curled up, utterly pitiful, and spoke weakly. "Qingchuan, I really didn't do anything. It's all a misunderstanding. I can explain. Is Mr. Ming angry because he's jealous? I can just apologize to him, right? Can you not treat me like this? I'm worried about you." Xiao Qingchuan looked at him coldly and mocked herself internally. Before, she was played around with by a man like this. How ridiculous. Her face was ice cold. One kick sent him flying. "Don't touch me. You disgust me." Assistant Zhang, however, Xian tormented Hao Ming in the beginning, make him pay it back 10 times over. "First, slap him 100 times for me now." Xiao Qingchuan's heartless words reached Xian's ears. He fell to the ground in a daze with only one thought in his mind. It's over. She knows everything. She was about to get revenge on him for me. Xian's eyes were filled with despair, his eyes darting around non-stop, desperately trying to think of a way to save himself. Seeing the assistant getting closer and closer, he kept backing away, shaking his head frantically. You can't treat me like this. I didn't do anything wrong. It's not my fault. Qingchuan, don't you love me very much? You don't like Hao Ming anymore anyway? Isn't it a good thing that I helped you get rid of him?" He screamed in panic. Xiao Qingchuan was almost provoked to laughter. She let out a cold scoff. "Who said I don't like him anymore? I love him. The one I love most is him. You're just a toy. Who gave you permission to lay a hand on him? Assistant Zhang, what are you waiting for?" Do you need me to teach you how to do it? Assistant Zhang thought to himself. If you really love Mr. Ming, would you treat me like that? He didn't understand, but he still obediently did as Xiao Qingchuan said. He slapped Xian with all his might. There's a natural difference in strength between men and women. With just one slap, Xian's face swelled up instantly. He no longer had that pitiful, weak look from before. He was beaten until he slumped weakly against the wall, real tears rolling down his face incessantly. He was no longer as defiant as before. He immediately humbled himself and pleaded with Qingchuan. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Can you please forgive me? I can apologize to Mr. Ming. Don't hit me anymore. If you keep hitting me, I'll really die. My face will be ruined. Xian desperately used both hands to cover his face, wishing he could curl up into a ball. Not hearing Xiao Qingchuan tell him to stop, Assistant Zhang continued with a cold expression. He pulled Xian's hands away and slapped him hard. After a few crisp slaps, Xian lay on the ground, barely breathing. His face was frighteningly swollen, completely unrecognizable from before, but he no longer cared. There was only one thought left in his eyes, and that was to leave. Xiao Qingchuan was a madwoman. He couldn't understand why Xiao Qingchuan, who used to be so doting and gentle with him, had changed completely overnight. He had clearly hidden it so well before. Xian stealthily crawled towards the door, but Assistant Zhang noticed his intention. He dragged him back and continued to slap him. Hearing the continuous slapping sounds, Xiao Qingchuan only felt extremely annoyed. She waved her hand, signaling Assistant Zhang to stop. Take Xian away, don't let him die. Have the bodyguard supervise the completion of these 100 slaps, then lock him in the cold storage for 10 days. Remember to keep him alive, he hasn't finished his mission yet. As for Xian's parents, cut off their treatment immediately. The blood they owe Hao Ming, tell them to give it back to Hao Ming. After Assistant Zhang acknowledged the order, he hastily dragged Xian away. He looked at Xiao Qingchuan, his eyes full of despair, not understanding why things had turned out this way. He and his parents were all finished, and they still had to be tortured. How could he accept this? Xian struggled in despair, repeatedly lunging towards Xiao Qingchuan. Even if I did something wrong, bullying Hao Ming, it was you who taught me. It was also his problem. You shouldn't treat me and my parents like this. Xiao Qingchuan, you said you would spoil me, indulge me, that I could do whatever I want, that it wouldn't matter even if I poked a hole in the sky. Why are you treating me like this? Don't you love me anymore? He knelt on the ground, screaming himself hoarse, stubbornly demanding an answer, refusing to give up until the very end. Xiao Qingchuan's eyes were deep and dangerous. She spoke impatiently. The love is gone. I'm tired of it. After Hao Ming left, you don't seem interesting anymore. I'm your sugar mommy, and you're just a little puppy. Spoiling you is a favor I grant you. If I don't spoil you, they try to suppress the slight joy in their hearts. From today onwards, you and I have nothing to do with each other. I'll have someone send all your belongings back to your house. That villa will also be taken back. After you finish your punishment, never appear before me again. As soon as these words were spoken, Xian was utterly hopeless. His heart like dead ashes, he was dragged away. Xiao Qingchuan rubbed her weary brow, the irritation in her heart growing more apparent. After I left, everything became incredibly boring. Even work became unusually dry and troublesome. It had always been that he couldn't leave me, not that I couldn't leave him. Before he got bored, he didn't care for me, he just assumed I loved him, that I had nothing, and that I would be stuck by his side for life no matter what. But the truth slapped him hard in the face. If the old him knew what happened today, I'm afraid he would hate himself for the rest of his life. After all, he did truly love me before. It's just that this love couldn't stand the test of time. Xiao Qingchuan looked at the bustling traffic outside the window, feeling only extreme emptiness and loss. Life suddenly seemed to have lost all meaning. The phone on the table next to her kept lighting up. It was a call from her friend Bai Xiaochun. Sister Xiao, friends are gathering. Are you coming today? Bring your little puppy along too. Don't bring your husband. He's timid and hard to get along with. So boring. Hearing the noise from Bai Xiaochun's side, Xiao Qingchuan's brows furrowed deeply. She said with slight anger, Xian and I broke up. From now on, if you dare say a single bad word about Hao Ming, you better watch out for your family's company. Bai Xiaochun was stunned for a moment. The friends around him fell silent upon hearing that. After a long silence, he let out a forced laugh. Sister Xiao, are you kidding? Didn't you really like your little puppy? Why the sudden breakup? Then what about Hao Ming? We're divorced, Xiao Qingchuan said softly, with an indescribable loneliness. In an instant, Bai Xiaochun and everyone else froze on the spot. Even the music paused. No way! Is this for real? Did you two really get divorced? Seeing her silent, Bai Xiaochun and the others had no choice but to believe it. They tried to suppress the slight joy in their hearts and pretended to comfort her. Sister Xiao, we all know you're sad. Come have a drink. Drink a little more. Maybe you won't feel so bad anymore. After a long silence, Xiao Qingchuan still agreed. After arriving at the club's private room, she sat down with a solemn expression, silently drinking one bottle after another. Several friends drank with her, and some comforted her, taking her side. Sister Xiao, Hao Ming is so thoughtless. With his family background and status, marrying into the Xiao family was like winning the lottery. And yet he divorced you. He really has no taste. That's right. Isn't it just finding a man? Who in this circle doesn't have a bunch of men around them? You've been with him alone for 6 years. Are you not allowed to find someone else? Yeah, You didn't even find that many, you only found one. When you get tired of playing, you just throw them away. Why does he care so much? Although they said that, some people clearly had other intentions. They were just deliberately playing along. Xiao Qingchuan drank to drown her sorrows, only feeling that their words were too much and annoying. With a thud, she slammed the wine bottle on the table. The entire private room fell silent instantly. She scanned the room, unconsciously frowning. Where are Bai Xiaochun and Bai Ningbing? Why aren't they here? Before anyone could explain, Bai Xiaochun walked in with a smile, talking on the phone. Sis, haven't you had a crush on Hao Ming for years? Now that Xiao Qingchuan has really divorced him, you have a chance to pursue him. This is a rare opportunity. Your little brother has been helping you secure it for a long time. If you still don't seize it, then don't blame your little brother for not helping you anymore. Who would have thought that our philandering group would be useful like this? To be honest, the harmonious families in our circle, which one isn't faithful? Not being able to control your lower body easily causes a lot of trouble. Although I'm a playboy, I've had a vasectomy, and I don't plan on getting married to harm any good girl. My life is just like this. Having fun is enough. If you still don't get married or fall in love, you're really not young anymore. Bai Xiaochun acted nonchalant and carefree, but his words to his sister on the other end of the line were very sincere. Bai Ningbing on the other side hummed in agreement. I will seize this opportunity. I'm already abroad now. That year, I was one step too late. I didn't get to confess to Hao Ming in time. This time, I absolutely won't be late again. Her resolute voice clearly reached Xiao Qingchuan's ears, instantly stirring up 1,000 waves. Xiao Qingchuan was almost driven mad with anger, so all this time, they were all leading her on to do things that wronged me, so that Bai Ningbing could take my place. Her eyes turned red with anger. She snatched Bai Xiaochun's phone and spoke with a gloomy expression. Bai Ningbing, Hao Ming will only ever love me. I will apologize to him, and we will make up. He didn't like you before. Do you think you have a chance now? Impossible. Bai Ningbing was very calm. He won't love me for now. It's fine if he's not with me. At least I'm better than you. You hurt him so much, even if he doesn't choose me, he will absolutely never go back to you. Xiao Qingchuan's breath hitched, her heart aching sharply, but she still tried to act calm, squeezing out a sentence through gritted teeth. If it weren't for you and Bai Xiaochun being so despicable and shameless, deliberately leading me to be cold to Hao Ming, how could he and I have ended up like this? Hearing this, Bai Ningbing scoffed coldly. Xiao Qingchuan, stop joking. If you were truly devoted to Hao Ming, then a few words from Bai Xiaochun's group could never have swayed your thoughts, right? Bai Xiaochun's group hasn't been like this for just a day or two. They've always had a revolving door of people by their side, playing with one and then tossing them aside. Is this the first day you've known them? In this circle, there are many playboys. While faithful people are few, they do exist. Why didn't you listen to them and treat Hao Ming well? As long as you treated him well, the me of today would have no chance to get close to him. It was you who wronged him. Her words were as sharp as a dagger. Xiao Qingchuan's face turned pale then green, drained of all color. Her lips trembled involuntarily. It's not like that. She kept shaking her head, muttering in a daze. The phone in her hand had silently fallen at some point. The entire private room was engulfed in a deathly silence. Bai Xiaochun and everyone else were very awkward, not knowing what to say for a moment. Bai Xiaochun and a few others did indeed have the intention of leading Xiao Qingchuan astray, always telling her that everyone in their circle was like that it was fine to keep someone you like on the side. But many years ago, Xiao Qingchuan didn't listen to them at all. It wasn't until she met Xian that she gradually started to listen. But regarding the matter between Xian and me, they had heard about it more or less. I'm not the type of person who likes to bully others. Over the years, my character and conduct, everyone has heard about and has actually experienced. As for Xian, needless to say, I'm afraid only someone as involved as Xiao Qingchuan would be so deluded, unable to see his fake true colors. But Bai Xiaochun and the others knew they were at fault, and sincerely apologized. Sorry, Sister Xiao, this matter is our fault. But maybe you and Hao Ming really aren't suited for each other. He suffered so much while he was with you, was tortured so many times, it's a wonder he didn't go crazy. Letting him go is the best choice for him. Xiao Qingchuan was silent, only feeling as if a large stone was weighing on her heart, making it difficult to breathe. Now that things have come to this, what else could she do? Blame them? It seems they didn't really do anything. She could only blame herself. It was she who had a momentary lapse in judgment, was dissatisfied with the present, wanted a more exciting love, and ended up here. It was all her fault. Xiao Qingchuan got a private room, ordered dozens of bottles of alcohol, and drank sorrowfully. The spicy, stimulating liquid flowed down her throat, but she had no reaction at all. She didn't know how many glasses she had drunk. Her mind became clearer and clearer, but her heart ached as if pricked by needles. I'm sorry. Xiao Qingchuan hoarsely said countless apologies, but the person who should have heard them was not by her side at this moment. Tears blurred her vision. Before her eyes, it seemed as if the image of the first time she met me appeared. It was a very ordinary summer afternoon. Suddenly there was a sun shower. I didn't have an umbrella and was wearing a white shirt. Getting wet from the rain like that, I was soaked through. My clothes clung to my body, becoming slightly transparent. The big raindrops kept falling, making me drenched like a drowned rat. Xiao Qingchuan drove past and just casually glanced at me, but her entire gaze was captured by me. Her heart also started to pound uncontrollably. At that moment, she realized clearly that she was smitten. So she stopped the car, opened the car door and asked me, "Do you want to get in the car and sort yourself out? You seem a bit uncomfortable." I looked up at the sound of her voice. The moment I met her gaze, Xiao Qingchuan's heart almost wanted to jump out of her chest. Her brain stopped thinking, so quiet she could only hear her own heartbeat. But I was only thinking about the difference between men and women, so I refused without hesitation. "I'm sorry, thank you for your kindness, but it's not necessary." Seeing that I was about to leave, Xiao Qingchuan didn't want to miss this opportunity, and for the first time, she recklessly grabbed my hand, telling me to get in the car. She even took off her coat and put it on me. "Don't worry, I won't get in the car. This rain probably won't last long. We can just wait for the rain to stop." After saying that, she stood dazedly outside the car, letting the rain soak her. She didn't even remember that she had an umbrella. Perhaps love came too suddenly. She forgot everything, only wanting to be with me for a little longer. After that, she shamelessly asked for my contact information, investigated my daily routine, deliberately created countless chance encounters, and also confessed countless times. The day her confession succeeded, she was the happiest person in the world. Before, Xiao Qingchuan never thought she would love someone like this. After all, the precedent of her parents was still there. Her father was a monster who didn't know how to love. He wouldn't refuse anyone who came to him, tasting the flavor of love on those women, until he met her mother, an exception. He didn't love her, but only wanted to possess her, so he recklessly stole her, who was in love with someone else, and brought her home. He forced her to have a child. Her mother couldn't accept the fact that she gave birth to the culprit's child, but she couldn't escape, so she killed herself in front of him. As a child, she witnessed the death of her mother and the cold madness of her father. Xiao Qingchuan once thought she would be like her father, that she would never love anyone, but now she had become a combination of her parents. Loving someone as deeply as her mother, but also like her father, deeply hurting the one she loved. Xiao Qingchuan blamed herself and kept drinking. She didn't know how long she had been drinking. The bottles next to her were all empty, piled messily on the floor. She lay drunk on the sofa, curled up insecurely into a ball. Even when her stomach perforated from drinking too much, her expression didn't change at all, with no intention of getting up. Only her pale face revealed her weakness at this moment. Xiao Qingchuan seemed to be torturing herself, trying to endure the pain without saying a word. "When you were being tortured back then, it must have been 100,000 times more painful than this. I'm sorry." She slowly closed her eyes, her heart like dead ashes. She even had the thought of dying here. Darkness fell before her eyes, her consciousness gradually drifting away. In her delirium, she felt as if she had returned to the past. Her stomach wasn't good before either, and she would occasionally have stomach aches. I clearly wasn't good at cooking, but I still tried to learn stomach-soothing dishes and cooked for her myself. I also made sure she ate on time. The most ordinary warmth of the past. She could no longer experience it now. If I really died, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. After all, just as Bai Ningbing said, maybe I won't look back anymore. However, no matter how much Xiao Qingchuan let herself go, she still woke up. Bai Xiaochun and the others had taken her to the hospital. Seeing her wake up, Bai Xiaochun finally breathed a sigh of relief. He rambled, saying, "Sister Xiao, I know you're in a bad mood, but no matter what, you shouldn't joke around with your own life. If you really died, then Hao Ming would never know that you regretted it. Although my sister likes him, she hasn't found him yet. You still have a chance. Even if you can't get back together, you should at least explain everything clearly to him. Let him know that you regret it. Do you really want it so that in his heart, your image will be forever terrible? Do you want him to hate you for the rest of his life?" Xiao Qingchuan listened, her expression changing slightly. After a long while, she finally nodded. "You're right. I have to find him, apologize to their whole family, and explain everything. Maybe he'll forgive me." Bai Xiaochun and the others didn't expose this almost impossible fantasy of hers. Having hope to live on is still better than giving up and dying. They didn't want a death on their hands. Yesterday, when they rushed into Xiao Qingchuan's private room and saw her dying appearance, they were all nearly scared to death. After a flurry of activity, it took a long time to get her to the hospital, pump her stomach, and save her life. If no one had cared, she could have died from alcohol poisoning or a perforated stomach. Seeing that Xiao Qingchuan was okay, Bai Xiaochun and the others left the hospital room first. In the empty room, only Xiao Qingchuan remained. She couldn't sit still, so she called her assistant. "Is there any news about Hao Ming's family?" Assistant Zhang was silent for a long time, then let out a sigh. President Xiao, Mr. Ming's family, after erasing their identities, flew to Country C. But they left very quickly, and even changed to new identities. Trying to trace them just based on their photos is really difficult. Right now, we've only been able to find out that they stayed in a few cities. But where they are now, we still don't know. The Xiao family's power abroad is insufficient. Searching for someone is like finding a needle in a haystack. It will take time. Xiao Qingchuan rubbed her forehead, trying to suppress the frustration in her heart. Intensify the search. Keep looking. Also arrange the tasks that need to be handled in person recently, and try to finish them within 3 days. After that, all remaining work will be handled online. I want to go abroad to find him. Assistant Zhang knew she had made up her mind and didn't ask any more questions, just hurried off to make arrangements. For 3 consecutive days, while Xiao Qingchuan was recuperating in the hospital, she worked day and night. But she couldn't afford not to rush because Bai Ningbing had already been searching abroad for a while. She was already far behind and couldn't delay any longer. It wasn't until all her work was done that she packed a simple bag, boarded the earliest flight, and flew to Country F, the last place I stopped. The plane glided through the blue sky, leaving a long trail behind. On the Champs-Élysées in Country F, Xiao Qingchuan searched aimlessly. To be honest, she wasn't sure in her heart where I would go. She had no idea. The tourist spots she had casually mentioned before, she had visited them all, but there was still no sign of me. The tension and eagerness in Xiao Qingchuan's heart gradually subsided, eventually vanishing into thin air. 1 day, 5 days, half a month. She had no idea how long she had been searching. Her whole body had grown thinner. Due to constantly traveling, she had also tanned a bit, but the dark circles under her eyes could not be hidden. The bloodshot veins in her eyes were also dense. For every day I didn't appear before her was a day she couldn't sleep well. Her heart was filled with torment and pain. This torment was 1,000, 10,000 times worse than any physical wound. If I could appear before her right now, even if she were tormented by me until she was covered in wounds, it would be better than this endless torture. So it turns out, waiting for someone who you don't know when will return tastes so bitter. Xiao Qingchuan truly regretted it. If she could do it all over again, she wished she could take the version of herself from back then, who went astray due to a moment's mistake, and chop her into 1,000 pieces. Xiao Qingchuan's expression was blank, searching numbly. She didn't know when, but a figure with a back very similar to mine seemed to flash before her eyes. I was even hugging a foreign woman. Her entire heart felt like it was soaked in sour water, bitter and unbearable. Xiao Qingchuan clenched her fists, her eyes red as she rushed forward. With a loud thud, she punched the foreign woman hard. "Let go of my husband! He's your husband? Are you crazy? He's your husband?" The foreign woman asked incredulously, and unable to contain her anger, she threw a punch back at her, but Xiao Qingchuan blocked it with her hand. The Chinese man next to her quickly protected the woman and chimed in, "Where did a psycho like you come from? I don't know you. Honey, let's go." He glared at Xiao Qingchuan warily. It wasn't until this moment that she belatedly realized she had mistaken the person. It was just a similar back, and she had completely lost her composure. "I'm sorry," Xiao Qingchuan said in a dejected voice. After compensating them with some money, she once again embarked on her endless search. If not for this experience, she might have never realized in her entire life that in this world, there were so many people who looked like me. Some had a similar hairstyle, some had similar eyes, and some had a similar voice. But no matter how similar they were, they still weren't me. And for her, it had to be me and no one else. Just as Xiao Qingchuan was on the verge of despair, suddenly, Assistant Zhang sent a message. "President Xiao, we found Mr. Ming. He's currently in this restaurant. His parents are also there. This is the location. Please get there as soon as possible." Looking at the location and the side profile picture of me, Xiao Qingchuan could barely hold back her tears. She took a deep breath, calmed herself down, and without even having time to fix her appearance, she rushed to that restaurant at top speed. Xiao Qingchuan pushed open the door of the private room. The moment she saw everyone inside clearly, Xiao Qingchuan was completely stunned. "Bai Ningbing, why are you here?" Her heart was in utter panic as she questioned tensely. Bai Ningbing's expression was indifferent as she curled her lips slightly. "I am Hyo Ming's girlfriend. Why can I be here?" The moment these words were spoken, a loud explosion went off in Xiao Qingchuan's head, and her ears were filled with a buzzing sound, unable to hear anything else. Only Bai Ningbing's words repeated in her mind, nearly driving her insane. How could this be? "Hyo Ming, how did she become your girlfriend so quickly? I just want to hear you explain." Xiao Qingchuan's eyes were red, utterly vulnerable, and her voice trembled. I, on the other hand, acted nonchalantly, eating the food on my plate, and said casually, "It's not fast. We've been divorced for over half a year. She pursued me for a long time, and I wanted to give it a try. Besides, I'm single. Is there anything wrong with that?" Xiao Qingchuan's breath hitched. Her lips trembled a few times, but she couldn't make any sound. So it had been over half a year. My few indifferent words were like countless knives stabbing deep into her heart, causing her heart to shatter into a pile of minced meat. She tried to suppress a sob. "It's not good at all. I don't want to see you with someone else. You are mine. I love you. I only love you." I let out a soft sneer, finding it utterly ridiculous. "You keep saying you love me. Is hurting someone the way to love them? In that case, I'd rather not have that kind of hurt." There wasn't a trace of love in my eyes, only coldness remained. My parents looked at Xiao Qingchuan angrily as well, without a single pleasant expression. "Miss Xiao, you and we are not from the same world. You should go back to being your rich young lady. However many men you want is just a word from you. You can just toss them aside when you're bored, but our Hao Ming is not your toy, and he's certainly not your punching bag. Our good son, how much has he suffered since marrying you? How much hardship has he endured? Don't you know in your heart? How could you lock my son in prison and bully him so many times? What bad karma did he accumulate to have met a terrible girl like you?" The more my parents spoke, the angrier they got. While wiping their tears, they hit Xiao Qingchuan. Xiao Qingchuan lowered her head guiltily, not resisting, letting them vent their anger, but she couldn't help but ask a question. What about Bai Ningbing? She's a rich young lady just like me. Aren't you too worried that she will one day be just like me? Before my parents and I could answer, Bai Ningbing spoke up first. Whether I'm like you or not, let time be the judge. I'm confident that day will never come for me. The day I got together with Hao Ming, I signed an agreement with him. If one day I betray him, all assets under my name will be voluntarily given to him, and even after we break up, all the assets I earn in the future will also be automatically split with him, half and half. As long as Hao Ming has enough money, he will have the capital to fight back against me. If I do anything wrong, he can punish me directly. There's no need to endure it. I love him very much. If one day he no longer loves me and yearns for the clouds and flying birds, he doesn't need to stop for my sake. As soon as these words were spoken, Xiao Qingchuan stood there, stunned. Even I was a bit surprised. She never expected Bai Ningbing to go this far. I also never expected that when Bai Ningbing said she loved me, she was serious to this degree. At first, I only saw her as a friend in Xiao Qingchuan's circle, possibly here to stand up for Xiao Qingchuan, confessing to me on purpose, wanting to dump me again to get revenge on me. But after getting to know her, Bai Ningbing was absolutely not that kind of person. Her personality was cold, pushing others 1,000 miles away. Only when facing me was she especially proactive. Later, I asked her, "Why are you so proactive in being nice to me? It doesn't fit your personality at all." She just gave a bitter smile. "Because I don't want to miss this opportunity. I missed my chance with you once before. If I miss you again this time, we might not have another chance. I want to cherish every opportunity to be with you, to stay by your side, and never be apart." When I heard these words, I was stunned. In my memory, there wasn't the slightest impression related to Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing said she had met me back in university and fell in love with me at first sight. We had met by chance many times and even looked at each other many times, but she had never been in my eyes. It wasn't until the first day I got out of the detention center that she had prepared a grand confession, but it was all ruined by the rain, completely destroyed. She held an umbrella, just as she was about to pick me up. She was one step too late, beaten to it by Xiao Qingchuan. Every time after that, it was like a script. She always seemed to be unlucky. One step behind Xiao Qingchuan, unable to appear before me in time. She finally got to talk to me, but my attention was completely captured by Xiao Qingchuan. Later, Xiao Qingchuan confessed 99 times, and although I hadn't agreed yet, Bai Ningbing knew that I was already moved. I just lacked a bit of courage. So she gave up, only loving me silently, in places where I couldn't see. This love could not be spoken, could not see the light of day. So she always said she wasn't interested in love, pouring all her energy into scientific research and dedicating herself to her career. After learning all of this, I was stunned for a long time before I remembered that in my dusty memories, there had indeed been the figure of Bai Ningbing. It's just that, at the time, I only saw her as Xiao Qingchuan's friend and didn't think much of it. It wasn't until today, when I heard this confession from Bai Ningbing, that my heart was moved, but I couldn't help but feel a little lost. Do I really deserve such sincere love from her? I don't love her that much yet. My relationship with Xiao Qingchuan had almost drained all my energy, and even made me become anxious and insecure. I'm so afraid of once again giving my all, only to be left covered in wounds by Bai Ningbing. I can't waste another 6 years. Bai Ningbing sensed the vulnerability in my heart and proactively took my hand, intertwining her 10 fingers with mine. Her warmth spread to my hand, and my heart warmed up with it. I only heard her gentle voice. "Don't be afraid. Not all relationships have to end with a perfect ending. If you don't love someone anymore, you break up. It's not a big deal. Besides, you are very good. You are very deserving of my love. It's my own choice to love you. You deserve all the best things in the world." Her eyes were always gentle, warm, as if they could melt any ice. I was silent, saying nothing, but my eyes wavered slightly. Seeing this scene, Xiao Qingchuan's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. She stared at the hands of me and Bai Ningbing, intertwined, her eyes almost cracking with anger. Hao Ming, she's not right at all. Love is not about letting go. Loving someone isn't so generous. You just want to tie them to your side at all times. Xiao Qingchuan screamed until her throat was hoarse. She tried to hold back her tears, the bitterness in her heart almost drowning her. So this is how it feels to see the person you love with someone else. It's so unbearable in your heart. So back then, how on earth did I persevere? He almost didn't dare to think about it. But back then, the image of me with red eyes, utterly broken, confronting her, flashed before her eyes. I also questioned, went mad, and screamed. But at that time, she only found me noisy and annoying. Compared to Xian's obedience and understanding, it was even more irritating. She didn't even understand why I couldn't be gentle and generous like other people's husbands. But now that a similar thing was happening to her, she truly felt the pain. Xiao Qingchuan threw caution to the wind and hugged me tightly, just like countless times before, pressing me into her embrace with strong possessiveness, intending to plant a frantic kiss on my lips. Slap. A crisp sound rang out. I slapped her hard across the face, sending her face turning to the side. "Xiao Qingchuan, you and I are divorced. I don't love you anymore. I don't agree with your view of love either. You don't love me. You only love yourself. Stop pretending to be deeply in love and deceiving yourself." My face was cold as I pushed her away with all my might. Bai Ningbing also quickly shielded me from behind, warning Xiao Qingchuan in a cold voice, Hao Ming is my boyfriend now. If you want to do anything to him, I will absolutely not let you off. The Bai family is not to be trifled with. Besides, the Bai family's power abroad far exceeds the Xiao family's. You best think it over carefully. Not only that, my parents also shielded me, looking at Xiao Qingchuan furiously. Xiao Qingchuan, although we can't compare to a powerful family like the Xiaos, but even if we have to confront you head-on, even if these two old bodies of ours die, we will absolutely not let you take Hao Ming away. You and Hao Ming were never meant to be. You best not come and bother him anymore. Get lost. Otherwise, every time we see you, we'll hit you. With that said, my parents, disregarding their image, grabbed the nearby bowls and plates and threw them at her. Xiao Qingchuan didn't dodge, simply taking the bowls and plates that shattered on her face, cutting a gash, but she seemed to feel no pain, not saying a single word, just staring at me without blinking. I'm sorry. Hao Ming, I really love you. Everything related to Xian before, I can explain it all. I misunderstood. I was deceived by Xian. I've already taught Xian a lesson. Please don't be so cruel, okay? Give me one more chance. I will absolutely never hurt Hao Ming again, otherwise I'll leave with nothing. I can transfer all of my assets to Hao Ming's name right now. Xiao Qingchuan humbled herself and begged, even picking up a broken piece of porcelain and holding it to her neck. She even forced me to grab one of her hands, making me control her life. She gave a crazed smile, her heart filled with bitterness. Hao Ming, if you hate me, you can even kill me. Just please don't reject me. I really can't bear a future without you. I can live without anything. I just can't live without you. You can punish me however you want. I'll accept it all. You can lock me in the cold storage or lock me in prison. You can hit me. You can yell at me. Just don't leave me. Hearing these words, I just felt my scalp go numb. I forcefully pulled my hand back, not caring if she scratched her neck, and angrily slapped her again. No, not even a little bit. I don't want to see you anymore. I hate you. Xiao Qingchuan, if you don't want me to hate you for the rest of my life, then get out of my world. After speaking, I glared fiercely at Xiao Qingchuan. Regardless of how severe her injury was, I hurriedly pulled my parents and Bai Ningbing away. Let's go quickly. I don't want to be with a mad woman anymore. My parents and Bai Ningbing continuously soothed my emotions. Our figures grew more and more distant. In the private room, only Xiao Qingchuan was left. She clutched her neck and suddenly laughed. Hao Ming, why weren't you a little more ruthless? It would have been so much better if you had killed me to atone for your sins. Why did you spare my life? You couldn't bear to leave me either, right? They'll just assume you couldn't bear to leave me. Some lies. Perhaps you even deceive yourself with them. But in her heart, she knew very well that I truly didn't love her anymore. So what was she to do? She was still deeply in love with me. Xiao Qingchuan's heart was filled with bitterness. Due to excessive blood loss, her vision began to black out in waves, and her whole body felt a bit cold. Just when she thought she was about to die, someone suddenly carried her away. Xiao Qingchuan tried to open her heavy eyelids to take a look. It wasn't me. It was a somewhat unfamiliar bodyguard. Of course, it wouldn't be Hao Ming. He wouldn't come back to save me, she thought to herself, and the next second, her eyelids could no longer hold up and drooped shut. She completely lost consciousness. When she woke up again, Xiao Qingchuan was no longer in the private room. She was locked in a pitch-black room. The room was as dark as ink. She could barely see anything. Just as she was deep in thought, an image was suddenly projected onto the wall in front of her. On the left was a photo of her and Xian kissing, and on the right was a photo of me and Bai Ningbing kissing. The two photos mirrored each other, filled with irony. No matter how foolish Xiao Qingchuan was, she realized this was Bai Ningbing's doing. However, it wasn't just this one photo. Bai Ningbing did it on purpose. Every time an intimate photo of Xiao Qingchuan and Xian appeared on the screen, it would be accompanied by a similar, intimate photo of Bai Ningbing and me. Countless profound photos stung Xiao Qingchuan's eyes and fried her heart in a pan of hot oil. Her eyes turned red with anger and she punched the wall hard. Stop! Stop it for me! But no matter how she screamed, the projected photos didn't stop, continuously agitating her heart. It was as if it was saying, what right do you have to be angry and jealous? You clearly did these things before too. Why is it that when it's me, you find it so unacceptable? I was in so much pain before too. Of course, you have to experience it once as well. The countless photos were like a nightmare, constantly hovering before Xiao Qingchuan's eyes. Even when she closed her eyes, this image would still appear before her. After a long time, she felt extremely guilty, apologizing over and over again. I'm sorry, Hao Ming. But no matter how many times she apologized, this torment did not end. Xiao Qingchuan was soaked in a cold sweat. She kept fumbling around the room, hiding. With great difficulty, she found the bathroom. After going in, she just felt utterly disgusting. So, she turned the hot water to the maximum and scrubbed her body incessantly, showering countless times without stopping, as if she wished she could peel off a layer of skin. Hao Ming, I'm not dirty. From now on, I will never touch anyone other than you. I'm really not dirty, Xiao Qingchuan muttered distractedly. There was no telling when this torment would end. When Xiao Qingchuan was released, her eyes were vacant, and her whole body exuded an aura of loneliness. Passers-by all looked at her with strange gazes, but she completely ignored them. After resting for several consecutive days, her assistant kept sending her countless piles of work. She was so busy she couldn't see straight. She didn't even have time to look for me. It wasn't until this work temporarily concluded that Xiao Qingchuan finally breathed a sigh of relief. She called Assistant Zhang to release Xian from prison and bring him abroad to see me. After receiving the order, Assistant Zhang immediately got to work. A day later, tormented to the point of being skin and bones, barely looking human anymore, Xian appeared before Xiao Qingchuan. His body was covered in countless wounds, dense and crisscrossed. His originally smooth skin was almost unrecognizable. His whole body was as pale as a ghost, his eyes filled with emptiness and numbness. Even seeing Xiao Qingchuan, he no longer had any desire to speak. The days in prison were not a life for a human. For him, the life of a normal prisoner was a luxury because he had been given special treatment to be taken care of very well. Seeing Xian like this, Xiao Qingchuan didn't feel a shred of pity, only nodding in satisfaction. "Come with me to apologize to Hao Ming." "Okay," he replied without a hint of hesitation, following closely behind Xiao Qingchuan step by step. She always had people watching me, so of course she could easily find my location. Xiao Qingchuan knocked on the door. There was no answer. She wasn't in a hurry, just waited quietly. It wasn't until evening that Bai Ningbing and I returned together. She immediately led Xian forward to greet us. "Hao Ming, look, I've brought Xian here. He has paid a price 10 times over for all the suffering you endured. I really don't love him anymore. He can prove it for me." Xian nodded with a numb expression. "Yes, I wouldn't dare have any inappropriate thoughts about Mr. Hao anymore. Miss Xiao can only belong to Mr. Hao. I won't dare to bully Mr. Hao anymore. I am a sinner. My sins are monstrous." He recited this line with great proficiency, as if he had practiced it thousands of times. Just hearing that, I couldn't help but be startled. Although I hated Xian, I also knew the real culprit was Xiao Qingchuan. Seeing Xian so injured, I couldn't help but think of my past self. I didn't feel even a hint of joy from getting my revenge. I looked at Xiao Qingchuan warily, still taking a few fearful steps back. "Xiao Qingchuan, I don't need Xian to atone like this. The things he did to bully me, it's enough to pay them back in kind. The one who should truly atone is you. You truly make me feel scared. Before, you cared about Xian, and you could torture me like that. Now you've turned back to care about me, and you can torture Xian like this. So what about the future? Someday in the future, will you, for Xian's sake or someone else's, torture me tenfold? This love of yours is too terrifying. I don't dare to accept it. I won't. I wouldn't do that. I just wanted him to atone and apologize to you. If you want me to atone, I can go too." Xiao Qingchuan frantically explained, wanting to get closer to me, but because of my fearful gaze, she didn't dare to get any closer. Bai Ningbing furrowed her brow tightly, gently patting my back, softly comforting me. "Don't worry, I won't give her another chance to bully you." Then, when facing Xiao Qingchuan, her expression immediately darkened. "Xiao Qingchuan, do you even believe your own words? If you really want to atone, do you need my approval to be able to go? Or are you just too scared to go?" Before Xiao Qingchuan could retort, Bai Ningbing continued speaking. "It doesn't matter whether you're willing to go or not. It'll take you to atone now." As soon as she finished speaking, several bodyguards stepped out, bound Xiao Qingchuan with ropes and dragged her into a car. Xiao Qingchuan didn't resist. She looked at me deeply. "Hao Ming, I didn't go to atone only because I wanted to find you sooner, apologize to you, and be by your side. If this is what you want, then I will willingly endure it." She was dragged into the car door closed, and her figure receded into the distance, eventually disappearing completely. I couldn't help but ask Bai Ningbing, "Where did you take her?" "I've already arranged things at the prison here. The sins she deserves to atone for won't be lessened by one bit," she said calmly. I nodded, not caring what Xiao Qingchuan's fate would be. This is what she already owed me. It was only right that she pay it back. However, Xiao Qingchuan was gone, and Xian beside her looked a bit lost. In a moment of panic, a glimmer of hope gradually appeared in his eyes, and his whole being began to shine again. Looking at the exceptionally beautiful Bai Ningbing beside me, Xian, just like countless times before, tried to find his most handsome angle and spoke weakly. "Miss, can you save me and my parents? My parents are still being held by Xiao Qingchuan at the hospital, forced to donate blood periodically. They are old, their bodies can't take it. Please, I beg of your kindness. I can give you whatever you want." His words carried a deep implication, and his expression was full of allure. But perhaps he himself had forgotten that he had been locked in prison for too long. His throat had been tormented to the point of ruin, and his voice was hoarse and hard to listen to. I wasn't angry, nor was I jealous. On the contrary, I was quite interested, watching Xian and Bai Ningbing, wanting to see what Bai Ningbing's reaction would be. If she was also like Xiao Qingchuan, fooled by Xian's clumsy acting skills, then I wouldn't need to continue being with her. After all, I could still receive all of her assets. Bai Ningbing's expression was calm, without a trace of wavering, frighteningly composed. "I am not a savior. I can't save you. The only person who can save you and your parents is yourself. You have hands and feet. You can earn money somehow to go back and save your parents." As soon as she finished speaking, she took my hand and walked straight home without a second glance. But the moment the door closed, Bai Ningbing pressed me against the door and kissed my lips. Within the restraint was a hidden frenzy. In between gasps, her gentle, magnetic voice echoed in my ear. "Hao Ming, you watched my little show. This is your punishment." As soon as she finished, she stood on her tiptoes and gently bit my earlobe, making my whole body tremble. The next second, she kissed my lips again, leading me by the hand to the room, explaining as we walked. "Hayo Ming, I'm not like Xiao Qingchuan. I cherish you very much. If any man could seduce me, I wouldn't have been single for so many years." Outside the door, Xian stood alone in place. A cold wind blew over, as if mocking his ridiculousness. He wandered aimlessly, passing by a fountain. He casually glanced at his reflection in the water, and was terrified. Xian clutched his face, screaming like a madman. He couldn't believe the terrifying man in the water was himself. During the years he was locked in prison, he had absolutely no time or energy to take care of himself. Every day, before the old wounds on his body healed, new scars would appear. The wounds were not treated well. But clearly, what he loved most before was this face of his. How on earth did he end up like this? Xian didn't understand. Never mind being tortured himself, even his parents were always living in misery. When he was in prison, someone showed him his parents' recent situation. Because they were old, their health was not as good as before. Their beloved son was not by their side, and they had donated blood too many times. They had aged nearly 20 years. Only in their 50s, their hair was completely white, and their faces were full of wrinkles. Now he had ended up like this. Xian truly regretted it. If he hadn't been greedy for money at the beginning, and deliberately crashed into Xiao Qingchuan's car. If he hadn't agreed at the beginning to be kept by her as a gigolo. If he hadn't framed me so many times. Perhaps he wouldn't have ended up where he is today, but things had come to this point. He could no longer salvage it. The ridiculous thing was, just now he had used this appearance to try and seduce another woman, but he had no other choice. Xian was utterly desperate. If he had any other way to make a living, he wouldn't have to go seduce others. He was already such a mess. What else could he do? He could already see the end of his life. City B prison. Bai Ningbing's bodyguard served as a temporary prison guard, standing guard not far from Xiao Qingchuan, coldly watching her be tortured. With a thud, a blonde, blue-eyed man angrily punched Xiao Qingchuan, but she had no intention of struggling or resisting. She just silently endured it. Actually, if she wanted to, she had countless opportunities to leave this place. She could pay some money for someone to knock out this blonde, blue-eyed man. Even fighting several people at once wouldn't be difficult at all. Even if she really couldn't take it anymore, she could still concede to Bai Ningbing's bodyguard and ask to leave. But Xiao Qingchuan didn't do that. Only intense pain could make her feel like she was alive. Perhaps she had gone mad long ago, the moment she knew I would never forgive her. Now she was just barely holding on. She and her father were both the same kind of monster, never giving up until they achieved their goal, but she truly regretted it. After countless days in prison, Xiao Qingchuan was not as desperate as Xian. On the contrary, she had gotten used to this kind of life. This physical torture no longer made her feel like she was alive. Her body would still hurt, but her soul was already dead. Her entire being was completely numb. Finally, Xiao Qingchuan managed to avoid the eyes of the bodyguard and other guards and walked out of the prison. She followed her memory to my house in this country and knocked on the door. However, the one who opened the door was not me or Bai Ningbing, nor was it my parents. It was a completely unfamiliar young man. "Excuse me, who are you looking for?" the young man asked with a frown. Xiao Qingchuan's deep, dark eyes stared at him, and she grabbed his collar to question him. "Where is Hao Ming? Where did he go?" He was the previous owner of this house. Xiao Qingchuan forcefully pushed the young man away, turned, and left without looking back. She returned to the country at the fastest speed possible. That day, a topic spread wildly throughout the capital. The ex-husband of Xiao Corporation's CEO Xiao Qingchuan has become the boyfriend of the Bai family's eldest daughter, Bai Ningbing. Xiao Qingchuan, for love, is willing to be the third party. Countless people were discussing this topic, and many even went to the Bai family's residence to watch a good show. Outside the main gate of the Bai residence, Xiao Qingchuan stood in the rain, ignoring everyone's scrutinizing gazes. Her burning gaze was fixed on me. "Hao Ming, I won't give up. You will only belong to me. I'm so sorry, but I won't give you that chance," Bai Ningbing replied coldly. As soon as she finished speaking, several soldiers holding guns got out of an armored vehicle, tightly surrounding Xiao Qingchuan. Bai Ningbing linked her arm with mine, a provocative smirk on her lips. "Trying to steal the boyfriend of the person in charge of a key national experimental project? You'd better know your own limits." My expression was also calm, always cold. "Xiao Qingchuan, don't come looking for me anymore. No matter what you do, I will not forgive you. You being like this, I just find it annoying." My parents also nodded, frowning impatiently as they spoke. "No matter how you beg for forgiveness, it's useless. You can't even get past us, his parents. You nearly killed us, so don't expect our family to forgive you. Go back to being your rich missy with a man on each arm. Whether you want to keep them inside or outside, however many men you have is none of our business. You can even play with one a day. Just don't come and be an eyesore in front of us anymore." Xiao Qingchuan lowered her eyes slightly, only silently refuting it in her heart. She didn't need anyone. She only wanted me. However, she was still taken away. Outside the Xiao Corporation, there were frequent patrols to prevent her from taking any irreversible actions towards me. After that, quite a few business partners heard the rumors and thought she was promiscuous. Her private life was chaotic. When negotiating partnerships, all sorts of men were sent to her. Among them, quite a few bore a resemblance to me, but Xiao Qingchuan didn't want any of them. They were all sent away. She knew there was no longer any possibility between us, but she also didn't want to do anything else that could make her regret for the rest of her life. Being alone for a lifetime was fine too.